Hello everyone, welcome to Sustainable Saturday with Green Yatra. I am Kayden Anthony and I will be conducting this week's session. So I'll give a small introduction about myself. Who am I? What do I do? What are my basic interests? Then I'll tell you about the topic and then we can begin. So as I said, I'm Kayden. I work with Green Yatra and I have completed my education as a wildlife biologist and have been in the field for the past couple of years. While during my education, some certain things about ecology have were a big part of my interest, and I have been trying to explore and trying to find out new avenues and new behaviors basically in the wild. Today's topic is something different. So another thing about me is I have worked in social media and putting climate change, putting the message forward and making people know about it. So, what I'm going to talk about today is related to that. It's a digital carbon footprint. Evidently, by the name, it's quite clear what is this topic about. When I say digital carbon footprint, what I mean is the carbon footprint generated by digital activities or by online activities. Not necessarily online, but any activities related to your phone, your devices. Um, it has a small impact, not a very big impact, but it does have an impact. Collectively, how does that impact accumulate and how does it affect us? What are the things we can do about it? That's what we're going to talk about today. So without further ado, let's start this topic for today: digital carbon footprint. I'm sure in the past few years we all have noticed the extremely fast boom of the internet. In the past few years, in the past I would say 20 years, which is a fairly short period of time, the number of users in the internet have been growing exponentially. As you can see in this graph, this is a 10-year graph from 2008 to 2018. 2008, the graph was a bit, we had a few 1500 million users. These numbers are in millions, so around 1500 million users. Now we have about almost 4000 million. Okay, it's not the exact number, this is a graph, but somewhere in that range, and the graph has steadily been growing. One interesting thing about this graph is that it does not include the year 2019, 2020, 21, and 2021 till 23. And in these 4 years, we have seen one of the biggest spikes in the internet usage. The reason for that is pretty clear: the pandemic, everyone was locked inside the house, businesses moved online, almost everything moved online. So those crucial years and have not been added in this list. And for a certain reason, I've not added in this list because those are an exception; they are not the rule. So as we can see, like the internet usage has been growing consistently throughout the years, and the projections also show that they will be growing. No signs of reduction in the internet. Probably will be growing for the coming couple of years as well. If we talk about the world population globally, about 65% of the people use the internet, which is a pretty big number, and 49% of the Indian population. As we know, our country, India, is one of the largest largest group of people in the world. We are the most populous country, and so a country like ours having 49% internet usage is a good sign actually, because it shows that we have a lot of connectivity, but it also suggests that we have a big digital carbon footprint. So we'll explore this idea a bit more in the coming slides. As as the internet got cheaper for us, it not just became easily accessible for everyone, it also became penetrated. It also started penetrating the deeper and the more remote areas in the world, like most villages. Now, if you scroll Instagram, you'll see a lot of content that comes out from villages and below poverty areas, areas that have not received clean water, have some sort of form of digital penetration, which is in a way good. We are giving these marginalized communities a voice, but it also shows the strength of the internet and the grip it has on a society. Okay, to put this into perspective, about 65% of the world would be roughly 5.3 billion. The world population today stands at about 8 billion. 8 billion being a massive number as it is, there are very few things in the entire world that were able to reach 5.3 billion people. Coming back to the slide, so when we talk about any product, when we talk about vehicles, we talk about housing or water. Uh, these are a few things that come to our mind as essentials, and essential things do have a higher level of penetration, and a lot of people have these products. But the thing like the internet, okay, which has which came into existence less than about 30 years ago, or if I'm not wrong, was popularized among the masses less than 30 years ago. Within such a short period of time, it was able to penetrate 5.3 billion people's lives. So many people have been using the internet. So sorry for that. Okay. So now, when any product is used such so extensively, and when it has been and when you it is so easily accessible and so easy to use, one thing that happens is the cumulative effect is seen. That means the effect of every individual, the sheer bulk of users causes a massive impact. Okay, according to the data here, 400 grams of carbon dioxide is emitted per inhabitant or per user. All this data does differ. A person sitting in a developed country like the US or the UK will have a bigger digital carbon impact than uh, someone in an island in the Philippines. Okay, but now I think the gap has been closing because because of the internet reaching everywhere. So now see, that's the thing. Uh, Now if you multiply 400 grams of carbon with the number of people, we get a massive impact. And I've said that a lot of times. But the thing is, what I want to do is I want to put this fact into perspective of how big is the effect. Okay, now where does the effect come from? Okay, the first part is the infrastructure. Internet does not exist in thin air. Okay, when we use our phones, when we use our devices, or any accessory, what we see is the part that is only visible on our phone, on our screen. Okay, we do not get to see the massive data centers that hold our data. We do not get to see the massive manufacturing plant that make these phones possible. Okay, we do not see the amount of cables that run under the water and that transport this sort of information. And the this aspect of the internet also has a large impact. um, Recently, if you know, the in the past few years, there is actually a boom in cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, and not just Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin, then there is Ethereum, and there are these some cryptocurrencies. And a small allegation that has been put on them is, apart from they are untraceable, is that not being decentralized, they also have some sort of carbon footprint. Okay, and Bitcoin mining or mining for these coins does cost a little bit of energy. Now this is a problem because uh, this is a problem in itself. But the problem that I'll put it in a simpler term, I'll put it in a simpler way forward. When you talk about Bitcoin or when you talk about any cryptocurrency, a computer solves a complex algorithm, and and it generates a coin or it generates a small value. Okay, that is known as as a cryptocurrency. Now the energy used to solve that mathematical algorithm, okay, generates some form of carbon impact. And just like that, everything that you do, every social media post that you like, um, every swipe on social media, every click generates some form of carbon impact, generates a carbon footprint. and it happens, through social media, through important emails, through cloud storage. Even storing information on the internet does cost something. Every minute that a piece of information is stored on the internet causes a very minuscule amount of carbon to be emitted. Okay, so and all of this information is stored in data centers, and to keep these data centers alive 24/7, to have constant electricity for so many years together, does cost a lot, does have a big massive carbon impact. So that is something that happens. um, Manufacturing, I guess there is no hiding that manufacturing these products, these so many products, do come with a massive cost. Most of these products do not have any eco-friendly aspect. Most of them are made of plastic and copper and uh, non-biodegradable materials, and there's rubber in it. Uh, and metals that can be reused, like copper and aluminum, that is used to make these devices, are most of the time not reused. They are just thrown away, and that further pollutes the environment they are thrown in. Okay. So manufacturing and disposal is a big problem. Manufacturing of these products also use a lot of metals like cobalt and nickel that have to be mined. Um, a lot of African countries have been suffering. Please do read about that. Okay, there's a whole documentary on the internet called Blood Money. Okay, then we come to e-waste. I just spoke about it. The devices that we use. Okay, the chargers, the accessories, every simple phone that we use has so many things that come with it. We get the charger, we get earphones, we get a very well packaged box. Okay, there's plastic that covers the phone. All of these small things together, they add not just packaging waste, but the waste of the phone itself. So all of this together is not very well maintained. The whole disposal of it, and that too has a very big carbon impact, or not just carbon but a whole environmental impact. Uh, it has been it has like it has been discovered that microplastics have been found almost everywhere, uh, from human blood to breast milk. Children who haven't caused us, intentionally done anything in their life, also are suffering from the effects of microplastics, which we know some of it does come from e-waste. The oceans are filled with plastic, and if plastic was just the problem, that was one thing. But plastic is not the only problem. Most of these devices have a battery in them. Batteries and other substances used to make these devices are massive polluters of land and water. Okay, they have certain acids, and lithium is also used to make them. So that is another thing that causes a big problem. And most of these things are not very well thought of, because it's not even popularized in the media. It's time we pay some attention to it. Okay. Now, how much does the internet contribute? Okay. Um, about 3.7% of the total carbon emissions, including is caused by the internet. I'm not sure if this data does include the transport and the manufacturing part, but 3.7 is actually a pretty big number when you consider the entire carbon impact, okay, the entire emissions. But there's a small twist that I would like to address here. The twist is that despite having, as we seen in this slide, despite having 5.3 billion users, okay, 65% of the world population, the impact is just 3.7%. That's a small impact for a very big product. So does that mean the internet is, above the problems? We do not have to consider the problems. Unfortunately, not. 3.7 is still a significant percentage. Okay, and something that we need to talk about. So, see, so here's the thing that we can do. Okay, the internet and ecology can be unlikely allies. Okay, Internet directly or indirectly, okay, has helped uh, reduce a lot of environmental problems, but it has also caused some, like in the form of consumerism, since since being famous is so easy on social media, it has led to a rise in consumerism, which also has a big carbon impact, which may not be a direct contributor but an indirect contributor to the whole mess that we have created. So one thing that the internet does very well is it boosts efficiency. Okay. Well, I understand how our generation does not always use the internet very efficiently. Okay, we may spend hours together scrolling reels or watching random YouTube videos. So, well, internet may not always help boost personal efficiency, but when it comes to work and processes and e-commerce, it does boost efficiency. Even a small thing like a Google Map, which seemingly does not have any connection with environment, does help, reduce carbon impact, since people do not spend as much time in searching for the location. Okay. It doesn't sound like a big difference, but yeah, when we are able to reduce transport cost, a lot of carbon emissions see a drop. Okay. Then the replacement. A lot of the products that we used to use, that we previously used, that had a carbon impact, are now not being used. For example, paper. Paper is not. We don't need paper as much because most of the world has been shifting to a digital platform. We don't have to have in-person meetings. We can have a Zoom meeting or an online meet like a Google Meet. Now, online meetings do have a carbon impact. Agreed, they have a carbon impact, but not as big as driving your vehicle to a location or reaching a particular location and sitting there, spending time there, okay, spending resources just to reach a particular location. And once you're there, once you're out of your house, people tend to purchase stuff, people tend to eat stuff outside. So it reduced that type of impact, but it did create a small impact of its own. See, internet can be a powerful tool as well for creating awareness. Okay? Using social media, using hashtags to spread information about social issues, about environmental issues, like right now how we are doing. Now this video that we have created does have an impact of its own, but we also are creating awareness about the issue. Okay. So depends on how well do you use the internet, how well do you use it for what. If the internet is used well, it can help reduce carbon emissions massively. But if not done well, well, this can be another addition to the big problem that we have. Having said that, I would like to share with you some small solutions. um, First is email efficiency. Always unsubscribe from unnecessary emails and okay, unnecessary newsletters. Then the second thing that you can do is clean up your email drive. Okay, don't keep a lot of spam email or a lot of unwanted email. Device consciousness. uh, so as consumers, when you pressurize your product company, like if I use a phone from a particular company and if I demand that I want you guys to be more eco-conscious while creating a product. Okay, a lot of these companies do take a step. Okay, try to find out products that are sourced eco-friendly, that are created using eco-friendly methods or at least low impact methods. Okay. Do not fall for marketing gimmicks. There are a lot of marketing gimmicks that every year you need to buy a new phone. Okay. That's not phones, I think, can be used for more than a year. People have the habit of discarding earphones and discarding chargers. But if try to use your stuff more carefully with more respect, so you won't have to discard and it won't be a part of the e-waste pile. um, Try recycling your e-waste, because it is not just It is not just useful for the environment, it is also a very cost effective method, and uh, lesser minerals will have to be mined if everyone starts reusing or recycling their old phones. Okay. Streaming media practices. Now, this is a tricky one. Choosing lower resolution options on your devices, or using low brightness, turning off notifications, turning off autoplay can be a very helpful way how you can move forward with it. And software updates. Now, again, a weird one. So, keeping your phone up to date, keeping your phone updated with the current software helps it run more smoothly, run more efficiently. Okay, which also collectively generates lesser carbon impact, a smaller carbon impact. And what we need to do is we need to understand that. All of these methods together, then a collective audience, maybe not 5 billion, but at least one out of that 5 billion would apply to their life, it would create a massive impact. Okay. So always remember to use the internet wisely and not overuse it. Okay. Having said that, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you all for being here. Do check out our website and our other social media platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn to know more about us. The details will be in the description. Hope you all have an eco friendly 2024 ahead. Thank you.